History is written by the victors, but for every victor, there must be a loser. Sports are cruel in that regard. Only one team out of dozens, or even hundreds, can be the champion in their respective competitions. The rest fall into the annals of sporting history, littered with other losers. But not every loser is equal. Some losers never had a chance. Some losers can claim improvement or moral victories. But some losers had the promise of eternal glory on their fingertips, only for it to slip away. This is the most soul-crushing defeat, the one that haunts you when you try to fall asleep at night. The dream of success turning into a nightmare, the promise of the milk and honey of paradise disappearing into the ether, leaving you with nothing except your unrelinquishing desire for success. Losing was by far the most likely statistical outcome, but man, it can be cruel. Maybe if you try again and attempt to defy the unrelenting odds stacked against you one more time, maybe things might be different. This is the irrational belief that defines sports competition, and this is what we will be focusing on today. This is the story of Marian Hossa, the man who suffered the worst defeat in sports history, and before we begin, I promise you, this story has a happy ending. Marian Hossa was one of the greatest hockey players of his generation. He scored the 38th most goals in NHL history and the 8th most of any player to debut in the NHL within the past 30 years. He was fantastic defensively as well, a complete player. He produced everywhere he went. He might be the greatest Olympic hockey player of all time. Representing Slovakia in 19 Olympic Games, he put up an astounding 28 points. I cannot emphasize enough how good Marian Hossa was at hockey. This is the kind of player who should find success often, and relatively speaking, he did. Marian Hossa made the playoffs 17 times in 19 seasons of play. This is his journey. The climb up the Stanley Cup mountain is the hardest in sports. Very little is within your control. The NHL playoffs are the highest variance tournament in major sports. Lower seeds win more often than any other league. Higher seeds lose more often. This isn't up to you. This is up to your teammates, your coaches, and any gods you might believe in. If you have stood next to a mountain before, you might feel small, insignificant. This has been here long before you, and it will be here long after you are gone. The mountain doesn't care about you. No matter how close you are to the peak, one mistake can cause a death spiral. Just don't look down. Hossa hit the ground running after being drafted 12th overall in 1997 by the Ottawa Senators. In his first full season, he finished second in Rookie of the Year voting. The Senators were consistently good in the playoffs, but unable to make any deep runs. The tides turned in 2003 when the Senators broke the glass ceiling and finished with the best record in the league. At 24 years old, Hossa led the team in points, scored the 4th most goals in the league, and finished 10th in MVP voting. This was the breakout season we all knew he was capable of, and this was Hossa's first serious chance at a championship. In the Eastern Conference Finals, Hossa and the Senators ran into the most unstoppable force in the league. His name was Martin Brodeur. The Senators fell behind 3-1. On the other side of America, the 7th-seeded Mighty Ducks of Anaheim are in the midst of one of the greatest Cinderella runs of all time, sweeping the Minnesota Wild to win the Western Conference. Goalie Jean-Sebastien Giguère is playing completely out of his mind, but whichever team wins the East will be a decent favorite. The Senators win 2 games to push the series to Game 7, the most stressful 2 words in all of sports. With a magical yet overperforming team locked into the other half of the bracket, this is as good of a chance as you can get to win it all, but you have to win Game 7. Time for Marian Hossa's first dance with heartbreak. The Senators control the first period, but the Devils take the lead in the second before the Senators get back even. It's anyone's game. This is the purest form of sudden death. These are the most stressful minutes of your life. Time for the Devils to live up to their namesake. The Senators' defense collapses onto Grant Marshall, leaving Jeff Friesen wide open in front of the net to deliver the finishing blow. Game, series, season over. The Devils would go on to win the 2003 Stanley Cup. Better luck next time. The Senators disappointed in 2004 and traded Hossa to the liminal space of hockey, the Atlanta Thrashers. The brown thrasher is the state bird of Georgia, an avid singer, and an aggressive territorial defender. The Atlanta Thrashers were neither singers nor defenders, finishing 25th and dead last in goals allowed in the last 2 seasons, and missing the playoffs in all of their first 5 years of existence. The Thrashers' biggest hope was a 4.2% chance at generational prospect Sidney Crosby and a lottery with flattened odds due to the 2004 lockout beforehand, but Atlanta fell to 12th. This is hockey purgatory. The Atlanta Thrashers are hockey's Bermuda Triangle, where talent vanquishes and is never seen again except on Wikipedia and hockey reference pages that have collected digital dust for many years. Ah, nuts. After a year off, Hossa helped the Thrashers find their footing, playing 80 games as a bona fide first liner and scoring a career-high 98 points. Hossa delivered career-best numbers in 2007, finishing top 5 in goals scored, scoring an even 100 points, and leading the Thrashers to the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. But the Thrashers fell quickly in a sweep to the Rangers and ended the 2007 playoffs at the bottom of the food chain of losers. The Thrashers lost to the Rangers, who lost to the Sabres, who lost to the Senators, who lost to the Ducks. Hossa was kept scoreless and only notched 1 assist in 4 games, and he was starting to get a reputation as a regular season player who couldn't rise to the occasion. Perhaps the lights were too bright. In 55 career playoff games as of now, Hossa only has 35 points, a substantial dip compared to his regular season production. The playoffs proved to be the least of Atlanta's concerns in the 2007 season, and after a dire start and on a contract about to expire, Hossa found himself on the market again. A young, contending team looking for the missing piece to round out their top 6 skaters would be a perfect match. Marian Hossa found himself back where he belongs, in the playoffs. Alongside incredible young players in 20-year-old Sidney Crosby and 21-year-old Evgeny Malkin, Hossa seemed like the perfect fit as a veteran, do-it-all forward to complement the 2 generational centers. The Penguins seemed poised to make deep runs year after year. What better time to start than right now? Pittsburgh made quick work of the Eastern Conference, only losing 2 games en route to the Stanley Cup Finals. The new kids on the block now ran into the well-oiled machine that dominated hockey for the past decade, the Detroit Red Wings. This is like jumping from facing gold-ranked opponents to suddenly facing the Grand Masters. The 2008 Red Wings were the elite of the elite, with 0 holes and 4 future Hall of Famers. The new, almost teenage sensations of the Pittsburgh Penguins are up against one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Good luck. The Penguins were shut out in their first 2 games before getting their first win in Game 3. Sid the Kid scored 2 goals, Hossa earning assists on both. But after dropping Game 4, the Penguins found themselves down 3-1. If you don't win 3 games in a row, it's over. This is a deep hole to attempt to climb. The Penguins find themselves losing with under a minute left in Game 5. Empty net. Do or die. Red Wings fans are counting down the seconds, and they smell blood. Hossa finds Crosby, who finds Max Talbot right in front of the net to punch it in. The Penguins survive for overtime, and make that 2 overtimes. In the 1932 World Series, Babe Ruth allegedly pointed at a flagpole in deep center field of Wrigley Park during an at-bat. The next pitch he saw, he eviscerated the baseball 440 feet right on cue. While it makes for a mythic story, the direction of the finger pointing itself is still under debate. Was it a called shot, or was he just pointing at some Cubs player, or even a fan? No one really knows, and it keeps baseball nerds tossing and turning to this day. On this fateful night, Peter Sikora left no room for debate.
But fellas, usually you don't have people tell you they're going to score in overtime. They just go out and do it. Peter Sikora just tapped the glass, pointed at his chest and said, I'm going to score. I've never had a player tell me that.
Sikora fires one, and that ricocheted off the referee. Right back to Sikora again, and a shot. He scores! Sikora said he would get the winner, and he did!
The Pittsburgh Penguins will play one more game. 2 nights later, the Penguins would find themselves in deep trouble again, down 3-1 with time dwindling. Sergei Gonchar fires at the net, hoping for chaos. Marian Hossa finds himself in the right place at the right time to deflect the puck into the netting. The hole is now half as deep. Down to only a single grain of sand at the top of the hourglass, the Penguins find a golden opportunity with 2 seconds remaining. Crosby throws the puck at the net, and goalie Chris Osgood stops it by the skin of his teeth. And with under 1 second left, Marian Hossa finds himself a few strides away from the loose puck with a wide open net and no one around him. The dream is right in front of him. This is everything he's ever wanted. This is everything Chris Osgood has ever wanted. The puck caroms. Hossa lunges. Osgood lunges. Michelangelo's Adam and God extend fingertips to the loose puck, but only one man can win this duel, and it's not Adam. The puck bounces wide. Osgood wins the Battle of the Fates and pokes the puck past the post out of harm's way. Hossa touches the hand of God, but it is too late. The clock hits 000. Adam is ousted from the paradise of Eden. Marian Hossa glimpsed at the beauty of the summit, only to fall down the mountain. The Detroit Red Wings won the Stanley Cup. The Pittsburgh Penguins lost. Marian Hossa is once again a loser. Better luck next time. Marian Hossa had a new opportunity now, in a different way. He is a free agent, and an extremely coveted one. For many players, this is the ultimate prize, the opportunity to secure generational wealth. Money is power, and Hossa has the chance to sign a contract for a life-altering sum of money. Moreover, the global economy is in the midst of a financial crisis, without immediate hopes for recovery, and this could trickle into impacting the NHL. Approaching 30 years old, this could be Hossa's last chance to cash out. The Penguins want him back desperately, and are willing to pay accordingly, offering a rumored contract around 5 years, $40 million. Other teams are offering even longer contracts for even more money. The Edmonton Oilers offer Hossa a contract north of $90 million over 10 years, but Hossa has a feeling he can't shake. He touched the hand of God. He experienced the divinity of Detroit Red Wings hockey from the mortal perspective of Adam, and it crushed him. He saw the beauty of Pavel Datsyuk and Nick Lidstrom playing hockey, and it enamored him. The purgatory of the Atlanta Thrashers hockey withered away at him, and the heartbreak in Pittsburgh absolutely broke him. Can Marian Hossa play God? What will it cost? Marian Hossa did the unthinkable. The league scorned. Penguins fans were furious. The team traded a huge amount of assets to get the supposed missing piece to a future dynasty, and he gave them the kiss of Judas instead. Hossa joined the evil empire, but this is exactly what he wanted, and he willingly gave up $85 million in pursuit of his deepest desire. Maybe this time will be different. The Detroit Red Wings entered the season as favorites to repeat, and they once again won the Central Division. Hossa and Datsyuk were dynamos. Datsyuk put up the 4th most points in the NHL with a career-high 97, and Hossa was a top 5 scorer with 40 goals. The Red Wings led the league in offense and were poised for another deep run, and the path became a little easier when the President Cup winning San Jose Sharks, the overall 1 seed, folded in round 1. The Anaheim Ducks pushed Detroit to 7 games, but Daniel Cleary sealed the series to send Detroit to the Western Conference Finals for a date with the young, rising Chicago Blackhawks. But the Red Wings did what they do best and took care of business in 5 games. I wonder who made it out of the East. Uh-oh. Now would be a good time to mention that Marian Hossa did not do this alone. Backup goalie Ty Conklin also made the journey from Pittsburgh to Detroit that summer. After the recent first overall pick, Marc-Andre Fleury, sustained an injury last season, Conklin helped save Pittsburgh from trouble and became a sensation by leading the NHL in save percentage during this stretch. But Fleury was too good and too young for Conklin to create a serious goalie competition, and Fleury finished out the season as the main keeper. Fleury played brilliantly down the stretch, which coaches attributed in part to Conklin for providing both competition and mentorship. But with a goalie prodigy taking the spotlight and another goalie under contract, the Penguins had no more room for Conklin. He had to go. He would have been stupid not to, and Detroit was the highest bidder. But Marian Hossa chose this. Marian Hossa passed up on $90 million for this. Marian Hossa was reviled for this. He was stupid to do this. But if he could win a championship, in his mind, it would have all been worth it. The Red Wings claimed a familiar 2-0 series lead by winning both games at home. But the Penguins proved more resilient than last time by rallying to tie the series at 2 apiece. The Red Wings dominated Game 5 to push Pittsburgh's back against the wall. The Penguins took Game 6 to even the field. Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7. But Detroit would have home ice advantage. The home team has won every game in this series. No major sports team has won a championship in Game 7 on the road in the past 30 years. These teams know each other like the back of their hands. These teams have won their conferences for 2 straight years. This is their 13th Stanley Cup game against each other. The old guard, the greatest team of the past 25 years, against the rising stars and the most talented player in the world. Win one more game, and you are cemented in history forever. The mountaintop is yours for the taking. The Red Wings have an excellent opportunity early, as Hossa escorts Valtteri Filppula to the net, but Marc-Andre Fleury snuffs it out. After a scoreless first period, the Penguins strike first, as Max Talbot buries a wide-open shot off a turnover. Talbot strikes again on a breakaway to make it 2-0. Talbot had 12 goals in the regular season, but he is on a heater tonight. The Red Wings are down 2. Jonathan Ericsson rifles a slap shot to thread the needle and put Detroit on the board. Now they have a chance. This is the highest stakes hockey you will ever play. Time to lock in. With under 3 minutes to go, Niklas Kronwall throws a shot that deflects off the crossbar, missing the game-tying goal due to sheer misfortune. If the puck spun a little differently, or hit a different atom of the crossbar, this game would have been tied. The margin between these two teams is so small that if they played 100 times, each team would probably win 50 games. Sometimes it just comes down to how the puck bounces. 6 seconds to go. Detroit pulled the goalie. The Red Wings gain possession off the faceoff and get one last chance. They throw it at the net, and the puck bounces off of Fleury's padding right to team captain Nicklas Lidstrom. Fleury is out of position. Nicklas Lidstrom is a future Hall of Famer. He is known as Mr. Perfect. He is one of the greatest hockey players to ever play the game. He has won 4 Stanley Cup Finals. He scored 264 career goals. Fleury lunges with every ounce of energy left in his body. The puck hits his right arm and falls away from danger. The Pittsburgh Penguins have won the greatest Stanley Cup final ever played. The broadcast first shows the Penguins players celebrating in ecstasy. The first Red Wings player they show is not in the game. It's Marian Hossa, sitting on the bench, a completely broken man. Marian Hossa flew too close to the sun, and the Red Wings melted. I wonder how Ty Conklin felt. His mentorship of Marc-Andre Fleury worked, and this is the ultimate price he had to pay. I wonder if Ty Conklin realized he created a monster. Everything King Midas touched turned into gold. Marian Hossa seemed doomed to an even worse fate. Everything he touched turned into silver. This was even more insufferable. At least Midas had a few minutes of exultation before he realized his fate. Midas got to actualize his dreams of unfathomable, endless gold before facing the consequences of his actions. Marian Hossa had no moment of ultimate celebration. He came steps away from the mountaintop, only to fall time and time again. He gave up $85 million to climb this mountain. His desires meant nothing. Once again, Marian Hossa would be relegated to second place, another loser among the millions of losers in human history. The worst part is that the silver Marian Hossa wanted so desperately was just out of his reach. This is rock bottom. This is the worst defeat in sports history. Marian Hossa's gambit failed, and it ripped his heart out for the world to see. He is the butt of all jokes. He is the ultimate loser. But he's only 30 years old. He's a free agent, and he still has many years of excellent hockey to play. But where do you even go from here? This time around, Hossa was much more calculated in his pursuit. His agent, Rich Winter, created a statistical model to estimate the greatest teams next season. Objectively, this is blatant ring chasing, but I can't blame him. Hossa has won since he was born. He's made the playoffs time and time again. He embarrassed himself, but he wants to win at all costs. He yearns for high-stakes hockey. He tasted it. He got so close. He watched other players celebrate in front of him twice while he sat sadly. He saw Eden, and it was more beautiful than anyone could ever imagine. This is his addiction. It's illogical. 29 teams have to lose. For the second straight off-season, Marian Hossa is at the roulette table, betting on green. It's unfathomable. In all likelihood, you are going to lose. You might as well get comfortable with losing. That is not a life worth living to Marian Hossa. He tried the if you can't beat them, join them strategy, and he fell flat on his face. Maybe his best option is to try joining a team he just beat instead. "12 years from now, Marian Hossa will be 42 years old. He won't be playing great hockey anymore. He is locked in with one team for the rest of his career. This better work out. For the first time in his career, Hossa has to miss a prolonged amount of time due to injury. He wasn't just mentally broken after the Stanley Cup final. He played through a shoulder injury serious enough to miss the entire offseason and the first 2 months of next season. The Blackhawks held down the fort, winning 15 games out of the 22 he missed. The Blackhawks continued to dominate with the addition of Hossa, who continued to play brilliantly. Chicago's penalty kill ranked 4th best in the league, and they led the league in shorthanded goals with an astounding 13. Marian Hossa scored 5 of those goals, matching or beating the mark of 12 teams single-handedly while missing a quarter of the season. The Blackhawks finished 3rd in goals scored and 5th in goals allowed, earning 112 points in the standings. The mathematical formula worked, but the regular season is a warm-up at this point. The Blackhawks made the Western Conference Finals last year and have only gotten better since then. Time to show up. They drew the Nashville Predators in round 1. The Predators put up a stronger fight than anticipated, and the series is tied after 4 games. In this circumstance, Game 5 is not sudden death, but extremely decisive nevertheless. Losing Game 5 means having to win 2 in a row, including a road game, with 0 remaining margin for error. For the vast majority of teams, this hole is too deep to climb out of. Whoever wins Game 5 is in the driver's seat with a significant lead. The Blackhawks get out to a 3-1 lead, but the Predators score 3 goals unanswered to take the lead with under 10 minutes to go, and they hold on to it late. The Blackhawks pull the goalie, and Marian Hossa makes a devastating mistake, shoving Dan Humheis into the boards. Yeah, that's pretty bad. You can't do that. A terrible time to make a mistake of this magnitude. Hossa has to sit in the penalty box for a 5-minute major and think about what he has done. The empty net numbers advantage is now nullified. The Predators controlled the Blackhawks for the last 20 minutes, and they are 1 more minute away from winning this game and taking an edge in the series. Hockey is a team sport. One man can only have so much impact. Starters play half the game in football, and they hardly ever touch the bench in basketball, baseball, or soccer. But even the greatest hockey players are lucky if they play a third of the game. This is different. This is about systems, styles, and coordination across many moving parts. The Blackhawks are now missing a crucial component of the system, and the other members have 1 minute to step up and score a goal. The system, that is, the Chicago Blackhawks hockey team, is at its absolute limit. Marian Hossa is sick. This is objectively his fault for putting his team in this situation, and all he can do now is watch. He needs help, but he is helpless. Let's meet someone new. No person in this moment feels more pressure than Patrick Kane. Drafted first overall and winning the Calder Trophy Rookie of the Year award, Kane looked to be the future of hockey in Chicago and an NHL superstar. But many fantastic hockey players can't bring their teams over the hump. While the future may be bright, the present is dire. Until now.
Careened high to be taken to the outside by Sharp. Net empty. Extra attacker. Shot by Dave. Score! Kane!
Marian Hossa's prayer is answered, but trouble is still looming in overtime. The Blackhawks have to handle 4 minutes of opposing power play without their best penalty killer. This is still the Predators' game to lose. But the Blackhawks hold for all 4 minutes, and Hossa rejoins the ice for his chance at atonement.
Bowling back. Circle and drive. Stepped in front. Score! It was Hossa at the side of the net. This is 3 games to 2.
The 2-seeded Blackhawks face the 1-seeded San Jose Sharks in the Western Conference Finals. Back-end defenseman Dustin Byfuglien plays 4 of the greatest games of his life all in a row, scoring a goal in 4 straight games to secure a sweep. The next day, the Philadelphia Flyers punch their ticket to the finals, and they are on a wild journey to get here. The Eastern Conference had perhaps the most chaotic playoffs in any sport ever, as the 7-seeded Flyers upset the 2-seeded Devils, came back from a 3-0 series deficit and a 3-0 deficit in Game 7 against the Boston Bruins in Round 2, and decisively beat the 8-seed Montreal Canadiens in the conference finals. A 7 versus 8 matchup has never happened before or since. The Flyers are the Cinderella team, and the Blackhawks are the juggernaut. Both teams are playing their best hockey at the right time. This will be a war. The Blackhawks win a barn burner in Game 1, and Marian Hossa gives Chicago an early lead in Game 2 that they hold on to take a 2-0 series lead. The Flyers win Games 3 and 4 at home to even the series at 2 apiece. In the crucial Game 5, the Blackhawks come out firing and never look back. Dustin Byfuglien continues his tear by scoring 2 more goals. He now has 10 goals in 21 playoff games, whereas he had only scored 17 in 82 regular season games. The Blackhawks have the edge in the series. Philadelphia still has a chance, and they'll get to play Game 6 at home. Byfuglien opens Game 6 with goal number 11, and Chicago is winning 3-2 deep into the third period. The Flyers are now playing for survival, and they apply relentless pressure, generating several high-quality chances. With 4 minutes to go, Billy Leno throws the puck towards the front of the net, which ricochets off defenseman Brent Seabrook's stick and Marian Hossa's left leg right into Scott Hartnell's awaiting arms, who deflects the puck home. Tie game. Marian Hossa is living a nightmare. This isn't his fault. He couldn't have done anything differently. The Flyers successfully created chaos, and any possible random chance is destined to go against Marian Hossa right in front of his own eyes. This is his curse. This is what ate at him his entire life. This is the demon he could never exorcise. But we still have more hockey to play. On to overtime. Schrodinger's cat is thought of as both dead and alive until observed. He created this paradox as a counter to the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. It is supposed to sound absurd and unfathomable. Life and death are two separate, irreconcilable entities. To many people, winning and losing are the same way. Either you won or you lost. Marian Hossa and the Pittsburgh Penguins lost the Stanley Cup Finals in 2008. Marian Hossa and the Detroit Red Wings lost the Stanley Cup Finals in 2009. This is indisputable. It's written in the annals of history. But what if you didn't know whether you won or you lost until you looked inside Schrodinger's box? After 4 minutes of overtime, Patrick Kane flips the puck into the vicinity of the net. The puck disappears. For a few fractions of a second, no one knows where the puck is. Schrodinger's box is closed. The puck is out of sight and the goal horn never blares. This is the Twilight Zone. This is a paradox that was supposed to be completely insane, becoming true. Patrick Kane is the first person to open up the box and peeks inside. It is at this exact moment when Patrick Kane is the only person in the world to know that the Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup. A few milliseconds later, his teammate, Patrick Sharp, joins the party. The news has yet to reach a single Flyers player or the Blackhawks on the other side of the ice. Now Nick Boynton sees Kane celebrating, and he sees the light. Andrew Ladd is in visual confusion before Sharp gives him the nudge of confirmation, and he breaks out into jubilation. The referees gather to verify. The puck lodges right between the back of the crossbar and the netting. This is a goal. This was destined to happen. The 2010 Chicago Blackhawks have earned a spot in history and immortality as Stanley Cup champions. Marian Hossa is a Stanley Cup champion. Captain Jonathan Toews hoists the trophy first. This is tradition. The captain always gets first dibs. The second player to hoist the cup is usually much more ambiguous. But this time around, it was never in doubt.